What would happen if something shifted in you, in the way that you hold yourself, in the way that you stand up tall, and the way the sparkle comes into your eye when you interact with other people as you talk about music, in the way that you know you are capable of? What if you could feel more capable? What if you could walk into a room more confidently? And what if any opportunity that presented itself would be one you'd be willing to say yes to? There's a shift that happens when you go from, I used to play the violin, I used to play guitar, I used to sing, I used to be in an orchestra, to I play. I'm in an orchestra. I have a collaborative musical group that I work with every single week. Everything changes. How you hold yourself, what you believe you're capable of, how you walk into a room, and when you flip open that case and grab your instrument, everything shifts. And this is based on research, because confidence that comes from playing an instrument isn't just about music, and it's not just about your instrument. It doesn't stay in the practice room. It goes with you. If we haven't met, I'm EP Archer, and I help committed adults improve their quality of life with music. We're in episode 4 of 6 in this arc. We've talked about brain, the emotions, your body. Today, we're going to talk about who you become when you play an instrument. In a research study published by Hayes and Minichiello, older adults who participated in music experienced notable improvements in self-identity, enhanced connection with peers, an increased feeling of well-being, and fostered connection with spirituality. What if musical is your spiritual guidepost? Now, that doesn't mean you can't have a faith or a practice or something that you attune to, a higher power. It doesn't mean music becomes your higher power. But certainly, spirituality is a place in the world where we become more than just ourselves, where we're connected to energy that isn't just us, but it is directly affecting us. How we feel, how we breathe, what we know is possible, what we hope in, and what we take action towards. That's not just having fun practicing. That's not just improving our brain. That is a big life shift. If you want better self-esteem and self-efficacy, multiple studies show that musical activity is associated with higher self-esteem and self-efficacy. You have a belief in your own ability to achieve things. And let's be honest, the harder the instrument you pick, the bigger the benefit. We can have fun with instruments that are more simple, that are easily attainable for goals, or that are just fun, more recreational. If you grab a melodica or a harmonica or a kazoo or a drum, that's a little bit different than grabbing something like the oboe. I told you about the guy that I met a couple of weeks ago, or the violin. But when you do choose something that is challenging and it requires of you bravery, it requires work, it requires consistency, commitment, and showing up, that means you also get to reap those rewards of showing up, of being brave, of being uncomfortable. And that means growth. That means expansion. That means a deeper relationship with yourself, with what you're doing, and everyone around you. 390 participants in 12 different choirs reported feeling loneliness and interest in life completely changing. They reduced feeling lonely. They increased their interest in life. They had higher self-esteem and enhanced sense of finding a place in society and a stronger cultural identity. Another study found that adults with musical training reported fewer conflicts in interpersonal relationships because music builds emotional regulation and nervous system regulation that carries into how we relate to other people. If you're neurospicy, if you've got a complicated relationship situation, if you are not feeling great about yourself, music and playing an instrument specifically is one of the most clear pathways to connecting your brain, your heart, your mind, and your spirit in a way you can do with nothing else. You build step by step without having to directly be in contact with that thing that feels so hard, that relationship with yourself, that confidence piece. It develops naturally and through the activity of you picking up that instrument, of you committing to it, and of you resonating somatically with what you are doing. There is something about saying, I play an instrument, and something even deeper about being able to say, I am a musician, and meaning it. Not, oh, I used to play, or I'm trying to get back into it, or I picked it back up again. I'm a musician. I play violin. I sing. I play guitar. I write songs. Those statements rewire your confidence, your identity, and they create a shift that doesn't just affect music. Every time you play for yourself, for someone else, for another person, even imperfectly, you are doing something most people never do. You're being vulnerable with something that matters to you, with something that connects to you. You're opening up, and that practice of courage transfers to other parts of your life. You get braver in other areas by default. Playing an instrument requires you to face what you can't do yet and keep going, to show up consistently for something that's challenging, and to be able to enjoy it and yourself and feel good about yourself throughout that growth process. That is the essence of a growth mindset. And it's not a theory or a conversation or a book you're reading. You are doing it. It's in practice. It is happening in your life. And research shows that consistently showing up with a growth mindset means you live longer, you have better health outcomes, and you have a higher life satisfaction. What if you could feel happier about your life just because you're playing an instrument? What if you could grow in your business and in your relationships because you are facing growth by playing an instrument? How amazing would that feel? So the next time someone asks you what you do for fun, what your hobbies are, say, I play the violin. I sing. I write songs. Not I'm learning or I'm taking lessons or I'm thinking about it. Just step into that. Wear that cloak of instrument, of playing, of music with pride. Notice how it feels. And something else you can do is to play something for anyone else this week. Record a little snippet, send it to a friend, call someone on the phone, play for a neighbor. Heck, play for your dog. Do something. Play your instrument, not perfectly, just play. Connect to that act of courage, because the act of courage is the point. The bravery you build at the music stand shows up at the conference table, on a date, in relationships, in hard conversations, and when you are facing a decision you've been putting off. When you play an instrument, you don't just pick up an instrument, you pick up a practice in becoming. And that's where life becomes juicy and alive and beautiful and amazing and connected and engaged, when we become.
Hey, if you're an adult and you're over 30 and you're playing the violin and you want to get better tone and feel confident in the way you play, we have a super special offering. Free group for you to learn about our method, somatic resonance for violin, where you can finally unlock violin for yourself, not by yourself, but in a group of committed adults. Join us with the link. I can't wait to see you there. Your best music is on the other side.